Hey guys, it's Michael. I wanted to shoot a quick video on 3 reasons why hundreds of millions of people will go to their graves with the dark cloud of their debts still hanging over their heads. And there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. Unless, of course, they change the way they approach their debts. Having debts could be an amazing thing. It could be a blessing. And honestly, it could work to your advantage. You could make your debts work for you rather than work against you, considering the doors of opportunity that it could open for you. But that's if, and only if, you adopt 2 very important principles. Number 1, being responsible with your debts. And secondly, having the ability to effectively manage them. If you do not immediately adopt these 2 very important principles, you will go to your grave carrying your load of debts on your shoulders. Period, full stop, end of story. Harsh words? Well, sure. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Let me ask you a very important question. I need you to sit back and really think about this. What will you be leaving behind for your loved ones if you go to bed tonight and don't wake up in the morning? Life is unpredictable. There are no guarantees in life. There is no guarantee that you and I will see the break of another dawn. That's a given. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about that. Why? Because we have no control over it. But the $1,000,000 question is, what are you doing about the things you can't control? Now, back to my question. What will you be leaving behind for your loved ones? Is it assets to fall back on, or liabilities for them to deal with? And that's coupled with having to deal with the agony of you no longer being here, the constant harassing calls from creditors and collection agencies, and having to bear your cross, not theirs, but your cross. Has that ever crossed your mind? Maybe this is the motivation, that wake-up call that you need to stop thinking and worrying about your debts, but rather start doing something about them. Because honestly, that's the only way you're going to move the needle. The number 1 reason why hundreds of millions of people will die as debtors is hope. Hope is a great and powerful word, depending on its context and the reason for which it is used. It could be used in a positive or a negative context. Hope, the expectation of a positive outcome. Or hope, the expectation of a negative, evil, or selfish outcome. But I'm only going to be talking about the positive here. Hope can be divided into 2 categories. On one hand, we have the expectation of a positive outcome as driven by emotions or feelings. For example, driving on the freeway, seeing a fatal accident, and hoping everyone involved comes out okay. That's you expecting a positive outcome from a fatal accident is driven by your emotions or feelings towards the people involved. On the other hand, we have the expectation of a positive outcome as a result of efforts made, steps and actions taken towards achieving the desired positive outcome, result, or end. That's the hope I'm talking about. Hope debt relief. There are a lot of people out there who do nothing about their debts, but hope that one day they would wake up to a miracle and they'll be completely debt-free. That all their debts will just magically disappear without having to raise a finger or put in the work. All that is sheer hope. You can hope from now till eternity, but until you start putting in the work, until you start taking the steps and actions necessary to produce the result that you desire, nothing is going to come out of it, except that you would wake up one day and realize you're 80 years old, all grayed out and wrinkled. But guess what? Your debts will be sitting on the edge of your bed, patiently waiting for you to open your eyes in realization that they haven't moved an inch from where you originally left them. Wondering when you're going to take the initiative to start doing what is necessary to make them all go away. It's like sitting at home, doing nothing but lazying around and hoping one day you become a millionaire. Maybe if you win the lottery or an inheritance gets passed down to you. But the last I checked, there is no magic wand that you could strike your debts with, or a miracle pill that you could take to make all your debts magically disappear. You have to put in the work. Procrastination is the thief of time. The more you procrastinate, the higher your debts gets. All you'll be doing is carrying and postponing the weight of the debts into the future. And as time goes on, the weight of those debts increases, becomes overbearing, and eventually turns into a liability. And unfortunately, it starts taking its toll on you, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. And do you know who's going to be at the receiving end of all the effects? Your loved ones. Imagine that for a second. There are several ways you could tackle your debts starting today and working towards being debt-free. But first, you need to figure out what your obstacles are. What are the things that's been getting in the way of you achieving your goals of being debt-free? What are the hindrances, the stumbling blocks? Once you have that figured out, then you need to have a goal. Be it a 3-month goal, a 12-month goal, or a 3-year goal. And then draw out a plan towards achieving those goals and stick to it. You can start by sorting out your debts by their balances, from small to large, and then draw out a plan to start paying off the balances on the smaller debts and then work your way up. You could also sort them out by how financially demanding the debts are. For example, the debts with high interest rates. Draw out a plan to start paying off the balances as quickly as you can, so you're not paying on interest for the rest of your life. Study shows that people who make minimum payments on their debts, be it credit cards or personal loans, thereby carrying their balances over month after month, stay in debt for the rest of their lives. And if the debts are past due or delinquent, or if they've been charged up by the original creditors as bad debts, pick up the phone, call the creditors, and offer a fraction of what you owe on the debts as a settlement. There are 3 advantages of you going this route. Number 1, you would only be paying a fraction of the debts and not the full balance you owe on them, which means paying off the debts faster and saving yourself some money in the process. Number 2, you have the option of making payments in up to 36 months towards the settlement. Also, you determine how much you want to pay towards the settlement per month. Is it $5, $10, or $100? And then you can make a balloon payment at the end. With this, you're not putting your other important bills, or other important financial obligations that need the most urgent attention at risk. And thirdly, after all the settlement payments are made and posted to the account, the debts are considered settled in full. You will never have to worry about the debts ever again. They are gone. And most importantly, it helps improve your credit because it gets reported on your credit report as settled for less than the balance owed, which is way better than late payments, collections, charge-off, or bankruptcy. As you can see, you have options. You just need to take the first step. Stop putting things out till tomorrow, or leaving them to chances, or sheer hope. Procrastination is a powerful thing that will not only deter your progress, but also stop you from experiencing that change and freedom that you so desperately need and deserve. The number 2 reason why hundreds of millions of people will die as debtors is not knowing the difference between necessity and luxury. If you cannot differentiate between your needs and your wants, you will die as a debtor. Because with all the shiny objects being dangled in front of our eyes, everywhere we turn, be it online or at the store, begging for our attention and for us to pull out our credit or debit cards to make an impulsive buying decision. If you don't have self-control and cannot step back and really think about the decision you're about to make before making them, you will dig yourself a huge hole of debt that you will eventually fall into and find it really hard to get out of. If you always find yourself being faced with this dilemma of not knowing if the buying decision you're about to make is the right or the wrong one, consider using the 24-hour rule. If you find something or come across something that jumps out at you, begging for your attention and for you to make an impulsive buying decision, be it because it's on sale, a limited edition, or maybe it's just something that you think would be a great addition to your other collections, step back and walk away from it for 24 hours. Believe me, you'll find a way of either convincing yourself into buying that item because it's important, a need, and would satisfy a particularly important purpose in your life at that point in time, or you'll find a way of convincing yourself out of buying it because it's unimportant, and can be done without. Once you get used to this rule, you'll not only save yourself some money in the process, you'll also save yourself from a lot of financial and debt troubles in the future. The third and final reason why hundreds of millions of people will die as debtors is priorities. How are you prioritizing your spending? What bills are you paying? Or what are you spending your money on at the cost or expense of the things that are deemed important or need the most urgent attention? Are you one of those who likes going to the bars every weekend only to spend $50, $100, or $150? Or maybe you're just in the habit of going to happy hour every Friday after work only to spend $100? Are you one of those who likes taking unplanned road trips to Vegas with friends and co-workers who are simply irresponsible or just don't have any financial obligation because they live with their parents, only to realize you just parted with $300 to $500? Or maybe you're just a gambler who likes going to the casino every weekend only to end up spending $100 to $300 on drinks, food, and the slot machine. All this at the expense or cost of your mortgage payment, your rent, your car payment, or credit card payments, which unfortunately gets tossed on the back burner until your next payday in 2 weeks. If you are in the habit of doing any of the things I just mentioned, not only are you going to live paycheck to paycheck for the rest of your life, you're going to get in so much financial and debt troubles, you'll find it really hard to get out of them. In economics, it is called opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of you spending everything you have on one thing is another thing of equal or greater value that you also need but can't have. I went to a used car dealership a few months ago to get an oil change done on my car. And after dropping my car off at the shop, I decided to go into the office to chit-chat with the manager and kill some time until my car was ready. And while sitting there, I saw 2 tow trucks pull into the dealership with a vehicle each on them. I asked the manager if those were new purchases they just made. He said no, those are repossessions because the owners hadn't made a payment in over 3 months. For a moment, I felt really bad for the individuals that just got their vehicles repossessed because I thought they were probably going through some life-changing events, some hard times in their lives, like loss of income, reduction in income, maybe divorce, or just some medical hardship that is preventing them from being able to earn a full-time income. But shortly after, one of the workers from the dealership walked into the office with a big plastic bag filled with items that were taken out of one of the vehicles after it got cleaned out. And I was shocked at what was inside the plastic bag. I was amazed. The plastic bag was half filled with lottery tickets. Instantly, the sympathy I had for that individual flew out the window. Because right there, that just told me a detailed story of what kind of person that individual really is. It painted a vivid picture of someone that has their priorities completely screwed up. Someone that has a jacked up sense of reasoning and sense of judgment to have made such a dumb and irresponsible decision. I just could not fathom the fact that anyone in their right state of mind would spend $20 to $30 a day on lottery tickets and decide not to make their monthly car payment of $300. This person was comfortable spending $20 to $30 per month or per day on lottery tickets at the cost or expense of owning their own means of transportation. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It is sad and unfortunate at the same time that this individual was willing to risk $20 to $30 of their hard-earned income per day on lottery tickets, a game of luck, a game of chances, at the cost or expense of the certainty of the convenience and luxury of having and eventually owning their own vehicle. So the opportunity cost of this individual spending $20 to $30 per day on lottery tickets is that certainty, that convenience and luxury of having and eventually owning their vehicle, the convenience and luxury of being able to pick up their keys, jump in their car, and drive themselves to work, the convenience of being able to take their kids to school or drive to the grocery store to get groceries for the family. Or take the entire family to a restaurant for a family night out that they now don't have. I cannot stress the importance of prioritizing your spending enough. It plays a very significant role. As a matter of fact, it is the major determining factor of how well you will do with your finances, your debts, and your life as a whole in the future. Don't lose everything that's important to you because of bad judgment, bad choices, and bad decisions. Now is the moment of truth, the moment of reality. If you are guilty of any of the 3 reasons I mentioned in this video, and you want to stand the slightest chance of beating all the odds that are stacked up against you, then you need to start changing the way you do things. It's time to start changing the way you approach your debts, your finances, and your life as a whole. And most importantly, you need to start making the right choices. You need to sit back and ask yourself the question, is what you're doing making you a better person? Or is it stopping you from being the best person that you can be? Only you can answer that question. If you've enjoyed watching this video and believe you've learned 1 or 2 things from it, please hit the like button. And please don't be selfish. Share the video with others that you think would benefit from it as well. You just never know whose life this could change for the better. Also, leave your comments below. I would love to hear from you. Let me know how this video has impacted or would impact your finances, debts, and your life as a whole. And remember, you can be the champion who beats all odds to be debt-free. Talk to you soon.